ODM Party leader Raila Odinga has revealed that a storm has been brewing in the tea sector for some time now and said it may take a worse turn next week when the contract between tea farmers and the Kenya Tea Development Authority KTDA comes to an end this Sunday. Mr. Odinga said he is informed that the tribulations of small-scale tea farmers, which has severely strained their relations with KTDA, is a touchy life and death matter that nobody wants to touch.
Ladies and gentlemen, as has already been said, I was visited this morning by directors of Kiru Tea Factory in Madhyoya. But before that, I had discussions with some of them earlier on, sometimes last week. And what they told me was a story that is actually shocking, that requires urgent attention. So I'm saying that we risk losing tea to corruption and mismanagement. And I want to say that a storm is brewing in the tea sector, which has been going on for some time now. That storm may take a worse turn sometimes next week, when the contract between the tea farmers and the Kenya Tea Development Authority, that is KTDA, comes to an end this Sunday. I am informed that the tribulations of the small-scale tea farmers, which has severely strained their relations with KTDA, is a touchy life and death matter that nobody wants to touch. I'm told it is a taboo subject in media houses too. But therefore, I won't be surprised if you guys don't touch it. But as a country, we are staring at a crisis that we have to confront. In the recent couple of months, we have been treated to dramatic scenes and media reports of tea farmers uprooting their crops or promising to do so because the crop no longer pays. And of course, recently we saw uprooting of tea for some very different reasons. Kenyans were recently treated to a spectacle of a Nyeri man uprooting his tea bushes in Chinga ward while complaining about the hard economic times. Similar incidents have taken place in other parts of central Kenya, including Murang'a, Kiambu, Kisii, part of the Rift Valley, and former Western Province. Small-scale tea farmers in Kakamega and Vihiga counties are reported to be shifting their focus to alternative sources of income, despite the huge potential for the cash crop. Growers who own tiny parcels of land, usually ranging between 1 acre to 5, are uprooting their tea to create room for other food crops. Some are turning to dairy farming, poultry, and horticulture. You have been here before. This is how the collapse of coffee started. Small-scale tea farmers in the mentioned regions are frustrated with the management of the sector. The greatest challenge being faced by the small tea growers is that the prices they get for green leaf is never sufficient even to meet the cost of production. The financial security of the farmers is threatened, and farmers are plunging into chronic indebtedness. The story is the same across the country. In order to understand the magnitude and dimensions of the problems, I have in recent days held consultations with representatives of small-scale farmers and directors from various parts of the country. The last of such consultations took place just this morning here in my office. What is coming out clearly is that we risk losing this crop, this top foreign exchange earner that has long been associated with our country, if we don't take urgent and drastic action. You guys know that tea is imported from Kenya, blended with some tea from Sri Lanka, and then sold as English breakfast tea in Americas, Europe, and everywhere. The people or the body who should take action are the top leadership of the KTDA. Yet the sweeping feeling among the farmers is that the KTDA has lost touch with the farmers and their interests and have now put the country on the path to losing this crop. It is the usual tale of conflict of interests, lack of transparency, impunity that includes disobeying court orders, corruption, and wrong attitude that has killed many sectors before and now getting entrenched in the KTDA. We need to urgently address the price gap between auction and retail, which is currently so large. There's no fairness when tea is auctioned at 60 shillings per kilo and the farmer is paid 18 shillings for the same amount, for the same quantity. The price gap has given rise to briefcase buyers, which is an indication that the system is broken. You pay the farmer 18 shillings and you market at 60 shillings. These buyers approach the farmers directly because they know the farmers are broke and have lost faith in the auction system. So it's a question of take it or leave it. It has also given rise to hawking of tea. Hawking of tea is illegal. It gives farmers low prices for the green leaf. It makes the farmer forgo the bonuses since they do not sell to the KTDA. We lose at least 100 million kilograms of green leaf to hawking each year. But farmers resort to hawking because of frustrations and financial vulnerability. It is a manifestation of something fundamentally wrong at the KTDA and its payments to farmers. Besides resorting to hawking, farmers are permanently resorting to some form of borrowing from unscrupulous money lenders and shylocks to make ends meet. In the end, they are permanently in debt. The payment system must be reviewed urgently and fundamentally to benefit the grower. We must urgently address the marketing of Kenyan tea. The Food and Agriculture Organization in 2015 found that KTDA is weak in marketing and leadership, with cartels running the show and controlling the marketing activities. FAO recommended the formation of an independent KTDA marketing agency to more effectively market Kenyan tea and position it worldwide. There is urgent need for the Ministry of Agriculture to institute immediate measures and transform KTDA to enable that body to serve the farmers. Unfortunately, there is a feeling among farmers that the current board cannot transform the agency. Some members have served on that board since the year 2000 through manipulation of the processes. There's need for a forensic audit on financial management of KTDA, its group of companies, and all the 67 KTDA managed tea factories. Currently, KTDA is not supervised or regulated like banks, insurances, or cooperatives. This must be addressed. Parliament needs to come up with legislation to end the KTDA monopoly. There's need to open up this sector to competition, especially in small-scale subsector. The Ministry of Agriculture must embark on deliberate steps to remove the cartels from this crop through greater transparency in the selling of tea and payment of farmers. Our judiciary also needs to play its role and stand with the farmers to save the sector. It can and should expedite litigation involving farmers, and it must ensure its rulings are respected and enforced. Our increasingly effective Directorate of Criminal Investigations needs to take interest in the woes of the farmers. The DCI and other relevant agencies need to investigate the goings-on at KTDA and safeguard the interests of the farmers and the nation. There's certainly something wrong here. In a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, we will not sit back and watch as tea goes the way of coffee and sugarcane. Farmers are complaining of an array of malpractices, including misappropriation of funds. They want a thorough investigation of and audit of a parent body, the KTDA, and culprits held accountable. We must not lose tea to impunity and corruption. End of statement.
Thank you very much.
Questions? The statement seems to be self-explanatory. I can see that you guys are satisfied. Or you are, yeah, yes. What I would say that the Parliament needs to come up with a legislation to end the KTDA monopoly. I said there's need to open up this sector to competition, particularly in the small-scale subsector. At the moment, farmers have no other choice. You sell to KTDA, and they have to they dictate the price at which they buy from you. It's a question of take it or leave it. And this is frustrating farmers. It's actually ending up in excessive exploitation of the farmers. And when this happens, then people become disillusioned. They can come up and say, to hell with this. And that's the reason why you see farmers uprooting tea. They are uprooting it not because they like to uproot it, but because they're saying, I'm getting nothing out of this. Let me be niweke mboga, au nipande viazi, things like those. But tea, as you know, is a foreign exchange earner for this country. And this government needs foreign exchange. So we just need to find a way in which it is a win-win. The marketing, the KTDA gets something, the farmers, who are the primary producers, also get something, so that this is a kind of a living wage. Get something that can enable you to bring up your family. Okay? So this is what we are talking about. And that's what Parliament needs to do, because that is what Parliament is there for, to protect the interests of the underprivileged and the exploited. Yes, Madam? Metosheka. Oh, you are also the silent media. Thank you.
Maybe that's why.
My name is Joka from KTDA. Well, you mentioned a number of challenges that KTDA is facing, but you just stopped short of calling for its disbandment. Its disbandment. Could you go back to that?
No, I've talked about the Parliament coming up with a law that in the end will give farmers an option. So if KTDA in that kind of market does not play its role properly, it will just die naturally, you see? But at the moment, it is there as a monopoly. And we know how monopolies behave. And the monopolies have not behaved well anywhere in the world. They always end up in inefficiencies and exploitation of the common man. Yeah.